Cool. So we are here. We are live with Kyrill. Sorry for the delay. How are you, Kyrill?
I'm good, guys. How are you?
Good. Let's give the people a few minutes just to join us, and I will also share the link on the event, because I think some people haven't seen it yet. How is your day going until now, Kyrill? Everything goes good?
Yeah. So I'm not sure what time zone you're in. I think we're in the same time zone right now.
Yeah. We are in the same time zone. You're in Cyprus, right?
Yeah, that's correct. So for me, with a sleep cycle of waking up at 12 p.m., it's like near the beginning, basically, the first half,
Cool.
essentially.
Um, 1 second, guys. For all of you who just joined, so you're welcome to make comments, to comment on the post. We will start in a few minutes. I'm going to share the link. Any questions for Kyrill about growth hacking for B2B? So feel free. How many live you did on Facebook, Kyrill? 1,000? 5,000?
How many what?
Lives you did on Facebook?
Oh, actually, not a lot. Like I'm not a very big fan of Facebook products, so like Facebook and Instagram. Essentially, I rarely use it. I used it sometime in the past, so this was give or take like 4 or 5 years ago, for business development purposes. That's why I have like one profile that's like uh, quote unquote corporate. But other than that, like I very rarely use it essentially. So little and I barely do lives as well, to be honest, on Facebook or on anything. We used to do a lot of lives before, but now we sort of stopped at the moment. If I do anything, it's more of just a Zoom session with like a pre-built link, and then people join and we engage there, basically. Or Telegram calls. That's one of the things that I'm testing right now, because Telegram, essentially, you can build a community and then you can host your own calls directly on Telegram. So we tested Clubhouse before. We tested Clubhouse pretty intensely as well. So we tested Clubhouse for, I think it was just 2 months of just grinding on it, essentially every day for give or take 60 days until somebody got reported, they got blocked, etc. And then this whole like drama sphere basically got created. So in that case, we stopped. But it was crazy. Like you would essentially host a room on Clubhouse, like let's say about growth hacking, and you just talk for like 45 minutes, etc. Talk until you like fall asleep. Plug in the bootcamp, legit. Plug in the bootcamp, like I don't know, plug in the bootcamp like 2 or 3 times, and you'd get sales just directly from Clubhouse. You'd have the link.
Okay. Wait, let me that. The people need to hear that. We need to know what is over here. So let's do just like a short 30 seconds before we go live. Guys, for all of you just join us, comment below if you're on YouTube or on the Facebook community. 30 seconds, we're going to start with Kyrill. You really want to hear what this expert have to say. So 30 seconds, let's start. Hello, and we are back with Kyrill. Kyrill, how are you?
I'm good, Adi. How are you?
I'm good. Okay, just like I want now we're officially starting. So please, before we start with the growth hacking,
Now we started. Yeah.
now we read it so nice. So please tell us, the people over here, who are you? Where are you from? Tell us who are you? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. My name is Kyrill Krystalis. I run Inside, which is a growth hacking agency, and then the growth hacking bootcamp as well. So the most of the clientele and most of the traffic that we get is directly from our YouTube channel, essentially. So that's Inside on YouTube, and we get two types of clientele. We get clientele that says essentially, "Hey, Kyrill, I saw your videos. I want you to do this for me, or hire somebody to get it done for me, and I'll pay you X amount." Right? So like scrape, email, etc., or set up like a proper LinkedIn automation stream, etc. This is back in the day. Now it's a different service line. In that case, it's done for you. We'll close the deal. We'll cater to that type of traffic, and then we also have traffic that's DIY. Right? People that essentially they'll watch a video and then they'll say, "I want to learn more. How do I execute it?" Now, we can't put those videos directly on YouTube. Like, we have some stuff in the Growth Hacking Bootcamp, which is in direct breach of many terms and conditions of numerous companies, essentially. So for us to put it public, it, number one, would create additional competition for ourselves with regards to the thing. And then we'd nullify the growth hack itself. So we put it into a private community, Growth Hacking Bootcamp, and that basically caters to the people that are looking for a DIY solution. So do it yourself. So we have done for you. That's the service line. And then we have DIY as well. That's the bootcamp. And that's essentially who I am. I'm the person behind both Inside and the Growth Hacking Bootcamp itself, basically.
Cool. And where are you located? Where are you from?
So I'm originally Russian myself, but for the moment, I am in Cyprus. So we're pretty close. If my geography is right, I think we are.
Cool. Yes. Sounds good. Sounds very good. Yes, I think I met you I saw like maybe you comment on one of my videos or I comment on one of your own videos. I don't remember exactly, right? Something like that.
Yeah, so I think the first time I came across your content was just for searching for other content with regards to Jarvee and what people are doing. That was the first time, and then I don't know if you commented on one of our vids or whether you automated it, because I know there's a couple of YouTube bots that just comment on your behalf and they take like the username, etc. But there was a comment, so then I checked again, and then. At some point, I just decided to reach out, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it led to this. Now, I also reached out to... so I've just been reaching out to a lot of creators. I reached out... I'm not sure if you know Alex Berman.
He sounds familiar. Don't know exactly who is this guy, but sounds familiar.
Yeah, he's for Cold Emails as well. He runs Email 10K and he runs an agency as well. So I've been like... quote unquote harassing him as well, like joining his live feeds and paying money, like $5 so that my message sticks. And that's potentially going to lead to another live. And yeah, it's good to network with other creators for sure, definitely, especially if it's a niche down field.
I agree with you. So first, thank you for coming. And just to explain, like, for the people who joined us, so we want to discuss today about best growth hacking methods for the B2B market, for all of the people who here on the community or on YouTube and have an agency that you're providing service, whether it's like for your clients or for yourself. As you can see, for the last 4 months, Jarvee has a lot of issues and problems, especially with Instagram automation. Not particularly because of Jarvee, just because Instagram keep changing on a weekly basis, and it's a bit challenging to keep on track. And that's why we expand our service. We are doing much more things in addition to Jarvee. We're working with much more tools. And this is the goal of this live, to give you some value and information about what you can also do and not focus and put all of your eggs in the one basket like Jarvee or any one tool. So Kyrill, if I can ask you, what do you think it's like one of the best methods for growth hacking in 2021? Let's say if we speak about email marketing, what you can tell us about that?
So I'm just going to tell you right now, I thought the previous session that we're doing is the live, and I just realized that this is the live and the before one was like a pre-warm or...
sorry.
Don't worry about it.
Sorry.
As I mentioned to Adi previously as well, some of the best ways, and also on the flip side, just to say this as well. Like I understand the difficulty that you're going through right now with the whole Instagram thing, because we were going through the exact same difficulty with LinkedIn, as I was describing before. With LinkedIn basically doing a big change, and we had an entire bootcamp set on it. We had an entire agency set on it, and then we're there, like, you know, the scramble is real. And piece of advice as well for that, the best thing that you can do is essentially just focus on other blue oceans, right? Instead of expanding yourself further, right, into one industry or into one sector, just try to see, it's an opportunity to basically see what's also around, right? And identify other opportunities that you can basically double down on. On the flip side, though, it's also good to persevere and to focus, because your competition is dying right now because they're unable to work it out. So if you do work it out, you can then capitalize on the market. So it's non-binary. It's a double-edged sword. But it's good to do both, to basically persevere on it, try to crack it, and at the same time analyze new opportunities. But that's my 2 cents. Now, as per the question of what's working right now and the best growth hacks at the moment. So cold email, of course, remains as number one, no matter what. Because we were prepared for LinkedIn to fail since December. And you can even find YouTube videos that I had recorded with people from the bootcamp saying, just 1 second.
That's actually very interesting to know how did they know that LinkedIn will have these limits, these new limits of the 100 connections in a week. I didn't know that. How did you know that? Interesting to hear.
Sorry about that. I just had to turn off my other phone. So the way through which we knew that LinkedIn would essentially crack down onto automation as a full is because it just made sense. Like, everybody was automating LinkedIn accounts, just like there's a lot of automation happening on Instagram, and you can tell that Instagram is already taking steps against it, but they just haven't doubled down. They haven't told the department we want this eliminated by this point or whatever. So in that case, you can tell that it's only a matter of time.
Got you. Okay. So before jumping into LinkedIn automation, because it's also very interesting, what can you tell us about mass emails? What is the strategy you're working with? Anything, any information that can be beneficial would be awesome.
Yeah, so the email strategy that we work on right now, just briefly put from top of the show perspective, is we use tools like Snuff and Lemlist, and I'm also on the verge of testing Woodpecker right now, which is another one, to essentially automate the cold email sequences, right, to your target market. So we obtain the data through scraping, essentially. So we use tools like ScrapeBox, Octoparse, etc. We collect the emails, collect the domains. Then we use tools like Hunter.io, for example, to plug in the data itself and enrich it, and then essentially outreach to them with a follow-up 1, follow-up 2. Now, email is the baseline, but Hunter also gives you additional data. So it gives you Twitter, and Jarvee users know that you can do you can automate Twitter, so you can do automated DMs to people that follow you. So that's number one. And in some cases, you can also do automated DMs to people that don't follow you, depending upon the privacy settings at the end of the day. So it's a give or take with regards to that one. But you also get cell phone numbers from Hunter, which also means that you can essentially outreach to them via WhatsApp. So you can take those phone numbers and you can send them a WhatsApp message and an email. So, I mean, email is good, and it's still the staple of the majority of the stuff that we do in the B2B aspect of things. But if you look at it from an omni-channel approach, and you just look at the tools that you have available right now, you are essentially able to hit a prospect from a minimum of 2 touch points, not even 1, because email is 1. But you can DM them on Instagram right now. You can do a Twitter automation. You can hit them on WhatsApp. You're able to do so much. So
what do you think, for example, would be the first step? So let's say I want to do mass emails. Let's say I just want to do mass emails to get more clients to my agency. For example, I have the automation agency. I do mother and child method. I do a mass DM. I do Jarvee, and I want to get more clients. So what
For
is the
sure.
first step?
So number one, like I'm just gonna tell you straight. I'm gonna avoid like the top of the funnel talk, like identify your target market and all that shit, because it's pretty straightforward. You go on Apollo.io at the end of the day, which is like a LinkedIn Sales Navigator competitor, and there directly on Apollo, you're able to basically do a quick search for, let's say, marketing agencies, and you're able to search for executives, so CEOs, for example, of marketing agencies within the US, for example. And you can target the demographic a lot more. Once you do that, we generally scrape up to 2.5K records from Apollo at a time through a tool like Octoparse. And it's directly in our bootcamp. So if anybody's interested, it's all there. We scrape all those details, and then we plug those details into the tool is called Hunter.io. And Hunter.io, just by a domain name, right, will essentially enrich those emails. And it's going to enrich and verify. Because whenever you have an email, it's not enough just to have the email itself. You need to make sure that the email is valid. Otherwise, your bounce rate is going to be too high. If your bounce rate is too high, your domain will get disconnected, and your website might even get banned. This is why we always recommend doing an email outreach through satellite domains. So if you run, if you run adiankonena.com, right, purchase adiankonena.co and .xyz and run your email campaigns through .co and .xyz. So if any website gets blocked or deleted, it's those two and not .com. Otherwise, you're going to run into all sorts of additional issues. So satellite domains, Apollo.io, Hunter.io, and then essentially, just choose your automation tool. My favorite one is Snov, just from a pricing perspective. Lemlist is good, and anecdotally speaking, Lemlist does have a higher deliverability, but Snov gets the job done as well. And then just monitor your domain health, reputation, and rinse and repeat, essentially.
Cool. Okay. This sounds pretty crazy and very smart, actually. I think if maybe we can add later on the links for these tools on the comments, or you can send to me, I will add it. It would be great, because you mentioned a few. I think someone over here asking the question, I think Chris asking Hunter, that is the name. So maybe we'll add the link, Apollo.io, and Smooth. If that's cool,
sure.
Kyrill.
So it's Hunter.io. So I'll send it to you on WhatsApp right now.
Cool.
It's a pretty simple tool. It's like the baseline of anything you do, essentially. So I've sent it to you.
Thank you. Yes, we will add to the links after, no worries, Chris. And I want to ask you, this is about the technical part, about like what you do, and you mentioned like the great tools, what you need to like which tools to use, and all of that. This is awesome. I want to ask you also, like, let's say I'm a Jarvee user, so to do this kind of like change to move from, Jarvee, it's not turn on and turn off, as you know. It's like you need to understand about proxies, about API, about if you want to go like to the next level. How hard is to do email marketing, mass emails like that? Like, is it complicated? Anyone can do this? Like, what do you need to have in order to do this, in addition to the technical part?
Yeah. So the first thing that there's a couple of different perspectives to it. My general perspective is the knowledge that you've attained with regards to Jarvee automation, the knowledge that you've attained with regards to proxies and scrapes and the tool itself, and just setting everything up. It's gonna come. It's gonna be of use to you in other applications as well. So whether you decide to automate on any other platform with counter automation measures, you will require proxies. You will require knowledge of, who's a good 4G mobile proxy provider, right, that I can go to. And when somebody tells you, you're going to get a 4G mobile proxy for free, you immediately know that that's bullshit, because there's no such thing. Because I just see a lot of different things and a lot of different convos within communities. So the knowledge that you've acquired from the full process itself, it's going to come handy in other applications as well. So it's definitely not a waste. But to answer the question of how complicated is it to basically move from Jarvee to, let's say, cold email, there's a bit of a trial and error process involved, as with any form of marketing. You always need to test what works and what doesn't, but it's definitely doable. You don't need you don't need a rocket science degree to basically do the transition itself. It's definitely possible as long as you persevere.
Cool. Okay, and you also have like, I know you have some like even free videos on your YouTube channel that to explain about this stuff and like even get into more details. And you have also like paid programs.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of free material that I have myself, and there's a lot of free material that other people have as well. So like, let's say if you're looking for cold email, definitely check out Inside Insights, so our YouTube channel as well. But there's other beasts out there that, my knowledge is a fraction of what they teach essentially. So Alex Berman, Nath Aston as well. He runs a pretty solid growth hacking channel with he works primarily with API integrations. Then you have a lot of different people out there that release a lot of free content that you can really use to basically 10x your progression.
Thank you for that. Cool. Okay, so we spoke about mass emails. Another aspect of the mass emails, so we spoke about like how hard is that and what is the technically actions and tools you need to use in order. What about copywriting? Like let's say it's not, a lot of people that's working with Jarvee in automation, they don't have like the best copy skills because we don't do copyright. We do follow and follow, we do mass DM, or we do other stuff. So how can I learn copywriting, or what is the first step about that? What do you think?
Yeah, a really, really good question. So copy at the end of the day is everything. Now, personally speaking, I've never had an issue with copy. I never have to think about copy twice because like I write how I speak, and thankfully my English teachers, like they really made an effort, despite what a student I was. So for me, it's second nature. It's exactly like talking. So because of that, I really underappreciate the struggle that other people go through in order to basically come up with a template that's of good copy. But the best piece of advice that I can ever give with regards to copywriting is, number one, relax. Right? It's not like you're sending a letter to the Queen of England or something, and test out a couple of different variations and see which one works and which one doesn't. So have 3 different variations that you want to work with 3 different subject lines. The best emails with the best responses are the simplest emails, where the subject line, now, I can like demonstrate it right here. I'll just open up a random inbox. Like if I have an email, for instance, that's towards me, right, and the subject is like capitalized, like get your free copy now, and it's capitalized, so it's capital G, etc. Immediately, my brain, just from overexposure to marketing on a daily basis, it thinks like this is another like promotional email. Like, who gives a fuck? If I don't open it right now, whatever, I'm gonna get like another 5 of these the next day or whatever. I'm not really missing an opportunity. But if I get an email saying quick question, and the Q in quick is lowercase, the Q in question as well is lowercase, and then it's like ... Or if I get an email saying, dude, ... Immediately I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this is way too personalized. It's too informal. So let's open it and let's see what it's about. So open rates in emails, right? It's one of the biggest things at the end of the day. And simple copywriting, as opposed to hyper complicated, is one of the best things that you can do in order to basically increase your open rates and your response rates as well. So whenever I'm looking at copy, whether it's from students in the bootcamp or whether it's from people within the growth hackering communities, it's never on the topic of you need to write more, you need to do more, you need to give more information. It's more along the lines of start removing a lot of the useless stuff and a lot of the overcompensation that you're doing in your copy, right? Because you're a little bit unsure of your skills, of your copywriting skills, your how your offer is going to be perceived, etc. Remove those and send a much more refined message with a much more refined subject line, right? Because these things essentially convert a lot more.
Makes sense. Totally makes sense what you're saying, and very, very good like tips like from your experience. I like it because everything that you're actually speaking about now, you're actually doing, and I know that, and I can also, like, the people can hear that. So very, very good information. I also want to recommend something for people who like want to get better about copywriting in general. So I know for you, for example, you mentioned that you write as you speak and it's working for you. It's awesome. many people like, it's like for them, it's like, wait, I cannot write like that, or like from where to start. So I got a great recommendation. I'm writing copy, I'm writing posts and stuff, but my English is not the best, and also I need to get better. So I got a recommendation about, oops, sorry, this book. Did you know? Have you heard about that? Copywriting Secrets?
By Jim Edwards? No, but
Yeah.
the only copywriting book I ever read was by David Ogilvy. So his stuff, but I think I've heard of it, but I'm not sure. But
Yeah.
any book that you can read by any marketer that's done over a certain revenue score with just sales, definitely recommended as well, 100%.
Yes, I agree. Haven't read it yet. By the way, it's here for a while, but I will get there. There's a Mr. G over here. So first of all, he mentioned about Inside Insights, your cool bootcamp, Pinterest tax. Okay, that's good. Twitter and Pinterest automation. Yes, I agree about this. We are doing a lot of Twitter stuff. Pinterest we're also doing. I shared Kyrill with that, but not that much.
Is it working? Can you DM on Pinterest or no? Can you auto
You can
DM?
DM. You can auto DM just like you cannot put, a link. You can DM. Let's say you can share a pin, for example. You can share one of
Okay.
your pins and stuff like that, and then on the pin you can have the link. I think we need to get more into that. This is why also we're doing that, because especially I can tell about my agency, we focused about mostly Instagram. We do Twitter and we do Pinterest, but it's like we didn't get into that to the scale as we do on Instagram. So we learned better and get into these models, and we'll do a live about this for sure. I also want to ask you, Kyrill, about the scraping. You have a lot of videos about scraping tools, and I know you have a few videos even about ScrapeBox. Can you tell the people who don't know about ScrapeBox, what is this tool? Why should we use that? What I can get with this tool?
Yeah. So ScrapeBox is it's a hell of a tool. It's a tool that you buy once, right? But the collective value of the tool is 99% of the tools that you buy won't even have the utility focus of it. As a matter of fact, I have ScrapeBox open right now because I've been using ScrapeBox today to long story, but to scrape essentially. So ScrapeBox is a tool. You can get it. I think the Black Hat World offer is still available, where you can get it for $67 as opposed to $99. But it's basically a tool that scrapes Google search results. That's number one. It scrapes websites for custom data. So you have a custom data grabber as well. As long as the information is readily available on the source code of the website, you can find the before and after values and then take whatever's in the middle. You can scrape for emails as well, definitely. You can check for broken links, essentially, for maybe a SEO blog outreach. Let's say if you're doing blog articles on your blog and you're looking at 10x your SEO, and you want to basically outreach to domains that are within your industry that are relevant, right? Check their broken links and offer to replace them, essentially. So you can check for those broken links. Then there's essentially a myriad of different applications that you can have for a tool like ScrapeBox, essentially. A lot. It's definitely worth it. I remember I bought it back, I think it was 2 years ago, give or take. And the first time I saw it, I was like, what is this? Now, there is a bit of a learning curve, just a little bit with regards to it, because it's a weird looking tool. It's like a program that was made in the 90s type of thing. So the first time you open it, you're like, what is this? What does everything do? But it's definitely worth it.
Thank you. Maybe you can share the screen to show just what you can show about it, to people who don't know about it, or maybe I'm guessing a lot of people actually heard about that. I heard, but I always had I don't want to learn that. It's too complicated, but actually we find out it's not that complicated. So maybe if people, if you can show something, maybe also something small.
For sure. I'm just trying to make sure that the screen is shareable. Just a second. So
yeah, guys, if you have any questions for Kyrill, as you can see, he has a lot of knowledge about growth hacking, and he's doing it for how many years? I think I saw it on for a few years, right? 3, 4.
2.5 to 3 right now. So we're slowly coming to that. Can you see my screen or no?
Yeah, now we can see the screen.
Yeah, so now you can actually, yeah. It's pretty simple, essentially. So here, we're basically scraping a certain domain for keywords that are related to this. So it's pretty hard to explain right now without opening a lot of other tabs. And there's something that I have running in the background. So it's using like a lot of CPU power from my side. So I'm not able to like demonstrate right now. But here, essentially, you'd include the keywords that you want to scrape. Here, you'd include the site itself. So in this case, we're looking for keyword variations of existing site data. Then you'd basically scrape it. You'd need a proxy as well. So your proxy knowledge that you've acquired from Jarvee would come very handy here, essentially, because you'd understand proxies, how to use them, and which type of proxies you need. So the proxy that you need for ScrapeBox and search engines is in most cases just IPv4 rotating proxies, as opposed to I'm not sure what type of proxies are you using on Jarvee right now. They're static 4G or no, or residential.
Yes, we're using like static, basically like normal 4G that they rotate every like 4G you have on your phone. So it's like static, but they're moving every 4-6 hours. The IP changing.
Right. So for search engines, at the end of the day, you need just rotating because you need to do, let's say, 300 searches with one IP, then it's burnt, then another 300 with another, it's burnt, etc. And it needs to rotate on the millisecond, essentially. And your proxy provider will give you an allocation of, let's say, 10 concurrent requests, for instance, over 1 million different IPs. So that's how it works. Yeah, I'm not sure where you're going to post this, but I'll link a couple of different demonstrations that I have of ScrapeBox on different search engines and social media platforms as well, because to showcase it right now is a little bit difficult because I do have a process running in the background. But if there's other questions, I'm more than happy to answer.
Cool. Yeah, thank you, Kyrill. I will now show the questions, and I just want to add that what we're doing with ScrapeBox, we're actually using like 4G. That, for example, with the social proxy, one of the companies we're working with, we can actually set up the rotation. So we do this like if you do account creation, for example, for Twitter or for Instagram, you must rotate the proxy every 60 seconds, 1 minute. Yeah, so you can do it as well. Okay, my email, yes, I will share my email on the comments, Andrei. No worries. I'm trying on YouTube, yeah. Daniel actually asking you, Kyrill, is interested in email marketing, how we can connect to make a video call with you.
This guy actually had a call scheduled with me for 5, but he didn't attend. The exact same guy that asked the question.
Oh,
yeah.
Please forgive him. Maybe he had an issue because he's one of my VIP and it's on my VIP club, and maybe something happened. But he's very, very serious guy. If you maybe you can reschedule.
Yeah, no, for sure. Feel free to reschedule. We can hop on a call, discuss further. 100%.
Awesome. That will be great. Thank you, Kyrill. I usually find the keywords using Google Planner keywords and paste it in the keyword ScrapeBox section. Andrei mentioned that.
Yeah, this is it's a pretty decent strategy. It depends. It's a means to an end. It depends on what end you're looking for. If you're looking to scrape, let's say, blog posts, it makes sense. If you're looking to scrape websites to then scrape emails, it doesn't make sense because you'd need a much more targeted keyword in that sense. So keyword planner and volumes wouldn't really make sense.
Gotcha. Okay, Daniel. sorry, probably it was misunderstood. That's funny.
I'm not sure what Zoom session you joined, but nobody was there. But it's okay. Feel free to reschedule. I have no problem.
Yeah, all good. Cool. So we discussed about email marketing, about mass emails. We discussed about scraping. So this is how you can get the emails, and even with ScrapeBox, you can get much more. For example, you can use it to scrape photos. You can, as much as we saw, you can use it to scrape website links, information for website, a lot of stuff. So we will add, after, as Kyrill mentioned, links to his. You have like a full tutorials about ScrapeBox. It's very powerful tool, I must say, and the price to pay for that, like it's one-time fee with, as you mentioned, like you have like a
it's a one-time fee. It's a one-time fee. I was just thinking, like, if they did a SaaS product of ScrapeBox, they would be billionaires by now. But they did it one time.
It's crazy. Yeah, like think how many people actually need tools like that, especially
Yeah.
today. So that's good. And guys, if you have any questions for Kyrill, so feel free to post over here. I want to ask you about LinkedIn automation because we discussed about it before, we like on the start. Let's speak a bit about it because, for example, the people over here, many of us doing LinkedIn automation using Jarvee. We can do anything, including scraping, even a mother and child. Um, wow, like how you deal with like the new limits of LinkedIn and what's the old
Yeah.
solution?
So as I was mentioning on the first StreamYard, which I thought was the live call, but then I realized I was like, I just spent 50 minutes blabbering all on my own, but it's okay. The Before we used to run hundreds of LinkedIn accounts, so buy fake profiles, etc. We'd use like images generated from, I don't know if you know, this person doesn't exist. So we'd use images from that, and we'd basically automate the profiles like that. But then the new restriction came through. Again, we were expecting it, so we already started diversifying our ways. Like that's when I started looking into cold email, because I was like, okay, like if LinkedIn doesn't work, what are we gonna do? So we're already diversified at that point, but it's a pity because right now the cost with Jarvee, for instance, one of the biggest problems why I personally don't use Jarvee for LinkedIn is because there's no cloud CRM solution. So when I am automating 100 accounts for a client and not for myself, I want to have a virtual assistant to log in daily to look at the responses. You see what I mean? But Jarvee, it's gonna run on another laptop, which is here, unless I set up a AWS server, right? So Amazon Web Service server, and I run a Jarvee instance directly on that. In that case, yes, it makes sense. But the skill level of the VA that I need, it becomes like, it's like an IT specialist, and it's not a virtual assistant anymore. So the same cost that you had of $3 an hour for a virtual assistant in the Philippines, for instance, is now nullified, and you need to increase that cost and find actual talent that can log in into an AWS server, open up Jarvee, respond, make sure that when you open up the accounts, you're using the same VPS and the same proxy, that there's no IP leak. It's way too much. So right now, one of the main drawbacks and what we're waiting for is a centralized CRM for cloud, so that we can start offering it as a service again. But essentially, yeah. But the limits suck. But what I've also looked at, there's a lot of different avenues, but none of them have like gotten the same results on the same level of flexibility like LinkedIn automation did. But you have in-mails as well, which is it's another thing, and a couple of companies right now are starting to understand that LinkedIn offers 800 in-mails for free to every account, up to, I think, within a certain time frame. So they've begun automating that, basically. So automating the in-mail sending. Now it works, but most of the solutions out there are underdeveloped at the moment, so they bug, they lag, etc. So it means that your frequency of how many times you need to check the accounts basically increases by twofold. So that sucks. But there was a time when it was like hassle-free, but those days are over.
Yes, I agree with you about it. And basically, like, there are many tools I know, like for LinkedIn automation. So there's like huge market of tools that actually do integrate with API and CRM. They're just like a bit expensive if you're looking to scale. If let's say you have only one account, so that's nice. But if you have like an agency and you need to provide service for like hundreds of people, so it's not really profitable for you.
Exactly. So because of the restriction of 100 accounts, of 100 connections per week, right? Because of this restriction, our CPL, our cost per lead, goes up. So the cost that we need to generate a lead to sell to somebody, it goes up tremendously by like 1/7 at the end of the day. My math might be mixed up there, but it goes up tremendously. So our ability to basically pay top dollar for these tools, right? Because like when we used to use Expandy, Jarvee, how much do you pay per account? You pay like $10 per.
it's even your $1, but just like you have like the proxies, and like the VPS and all of this stuff. So this is
Exactly.
what make it, and the work, of course, to make it more expensive.
We,
The account is not expensive.
with our previous provider that had the centralized CRM, the VA, etc., just tool costs, we used to pay 60 euros per account. So if we're running 10, that's 600, just like that.
Crazy.
Yeah. But we could. It was no problem because I can close a deal with a company and I can tell them we're going to sell you per call $75, basically, per call. So I generate 10 calls. I'm clean from a margin perspective. Anything that I make on top of that is pure profit. I had no problem and it made perfect sense. But now it's different. But it's possible to do the exact same thing with email. But email just requires a lot more maintenance.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I can also say like about what we can do with Jarvee, as you mentioned on the start. It's not that comfortable, we can say, because Jarvee don't like the API, it's closed. But basically, let's say you have like a server, like you have let's say you're using Hetzner or Green Cloud, like a very strong server, and you have like a Jarvee license of, let's say, 200, 500 accounts on it. So you can, like, I know some people are doing that. You can have, let's say, like 2-3 VAs, make them some shifts, and then they can manage all of the accounts, like the child account, for example, let's say 20. It's not that comfortable, you're right, because you need to open the browser for each account, and you have also a lot of like expenses as the 4G proxies and all of that. But it is possible, like, if some people really get.
How many accounts can you put on one 4G proxy? 4?
With LinkedIn?
No,
we put in
with Instagram.
with Instagram maximum 10.
10 per proxy, yeah?
Exactly.
Okay. And how bad are the restrictions that you guys are facing right now? Let's say just somebody who runs an agency for Instagram, just to understand.
It's very challenging. The last 4 months have been. Basically, we found out that as much as you do less actions, like around 100 or 90 actions a day, it's like the safe side. And as long as you go more than that, we used to do like 150, 180, 200 a day.
Okay, so 100 actions per account per day.
Yes, like 100 actions to follow, 100 unfollow, 100 likes, and so on, like stuff. It's like this kind of limits. And there are like some waves we have seen recently. We all face that, like everyone doing automation or even manually work. So we found out we had like a capture waves, temporary lock wave. There's now another small wave of like try again later. It's like, looks like Instagram are really trying to. It's not even about automation, by the way. They just, like, as much as it looks for me personally, they really don't want people will use this kind of method of like follow, unfollow, and all of this kind of like interaction to grow. Looks like Instagram really wants people to, of course, paying for their ads, using a high quality content, working with influencers, stuff like that. And looks like all of the other methods, they don't like this, no matter if you do it manually or automatically.
And their support sucks. Like, you never know what's like. I remember my my URL, so inside.at, it got banned because I was using Facebook automation before the UI update. So I'd have Jarvee accounts, essentially just sending messages to people from Facebook groups, and I did a mistake, so I was sending out my own URL. So schedule a call with us at inside.at, and Facebook banned the URL for spam. So now I can't post my own URL like anywhere on Facebook, nor on Instagram. And I wanted to run ads on a certain Instagram account, and I had my URL on that account just as there from before, prior to the ban itself. And I was unable to, like, just my business manager would like get banned, etc. I couldn't update the account, etc. And I remember speaking to support, and support sucks so much. Like, it's number one, it's not humans, and number two, even the support itself, whether it's for a Facebook business manager or whether it's for your Instagram account, they don't even know the countermeasures that Facebook or Instagram has in place, right, to basically stop whatever action. And because it's automated, right? There isn't somebody sitting and they see your actions, they're like, stop. No, it's an automated process on the back end that if you take, like, let's say in excess of X number of actions, or something is wrong, so there's a wrong link or anything, it's an automated block or ban. So even support is like they don't. It's yeah. In that case,
Yeah, not the best platform to automate for now. That's for sure. I see the Instagram master reviewing is the new move. I must say, from our experience, it used to be awesome when you can do 1 million star review per day or the mass voting. It wasn't the best. As much as I know, correct me if I'm wrong because I'm not on the loop of the mass stories, but you can do maximum 10K and it's nice, but it's not worth the risk. As much as I know, we used to do it on verified accounts. There was a good times with like 1 million views, so we can actually gain 400, 500 followers per day. Or we used to do mass mention. It also was a nice time about 3 months ago. Like all of these kind of like mass methods, from our experience, it's cool, but it's not something that you can do for the long term. It's nice, it's working, but to build as much as we know to build a business about it, it's not that profitable and not like. Of course, correct me if I'm wrong. Yes. Is there something for you, Kyrill? Hello there. Kyrill, you will be running more Pinterest ads or hacks? What you can tell us about that?
No, I don't think so for the time being, no. So I decided to test it. I remember I got bored on one weekend and I was like, let's just set up like another business, see if it works. So I was checking Pinterest because there's some Dutch guys that are running dropshipping ads pretty successfully. And Pinterest also has like a trending page on the back end where they basically show you what's trending on the platform itself. And they had back then they had summer recipes trending. So I was like, okay, and I really wanted to take somebody's Udemy course, download it, repackage it, and sell it, like whatever. Because I didn't want to drop ship and have to take care of delivery and maybe my Stripe account and chargebacks. Like fuck that. But then I was about to do it. I actually downloaded a couple of Udemy courses, but then I really felt like it's too black hat. I was like, let's cool down, because it's like, you're like ripping somebody's course, etc. So I built a digital recipe ebook of like 99 recipes, and like everybody was like making fun of me. They're like, you're in the recipe space now, etc. Like grandma cookbooks, so on and so forth. And I built that and I tested it, but it didn't convert, unfortunately. So I tested maybe 100 euros worth of ad spend, and there was no conversion. Now I know of a lot of physical products that actually do really, really well, and you can see them because they're doubling down on ad spend and they're doubling down with posts as well. If you research, you'll find them. The only thing that I don't like is that the outbound clicks. So Pinterest, like the CPM on Pinterest isn't like super low. You're still paying like, I don't know, in some cases you can be paying like anywhere from $30 to $40 per cent. So I started testing Bing ads to lower that CPC, but I haven't come to anything solid yet, just from info perspective. But we'll get there. But yeah.
Yeah. That sounds crazy. I must say that what's working for us in Pinterest in organic growth, it's like to scrape Instagram post and repin that on Pinterest. We can do 1,000 even repins a day, and of course you can add your own link and stuff like that. You can also just scrape data from website. For example, you can scrape website products, or you can scrape website blog, and then you can repin everything. You can do it with Jarvee, with RSS, and cool stuff. So this is one of the videos I think I sent you about this. Like, it's working very well. Like for some of my students even, they told me like, oh my God, we actually gained some sales with this method. And you don't need actually to create the content, because let's be honest, to create content, it takes some time, and you can just repin. Yeah. Maybe it's a bit not such a nice thing to do, but as much as like it's like not like content that you can use for free, so why not? Right. But of course, if you speak about the legal part about that and how, so I'm not a lawyer yet, I don't think I will be. Yes. What else would you like to ask Kyrill? Like it's so crazy. I think I had a time to review your YouTube channel by last week, and I found out you have so many knowledge about so many stuff. Like you know about WhatsApp automation, you know about LinkedIn automation, you know about scraping, about mass emails, Facebook automation. Like wow, it's so many stuff. Like I have a lot of things to ask you, but I know we have limited time.
So it's. I actually didn't think like anybody else would find it impressive, but it's the whole point of like your initial question as well, like what you mentioned. Like you're gonna have a lot of people right now. They're like I really knew how to scrape with Jarvee on Instagram or mass follow, mass automate, etc. The thing is, because you've already overcome this learning curve right now with Jarvee and with Instagram, you have base knowledge for automating on 6 or 7 other social media platforms out there. So as soon as you cover that, right, then let's say when you're doing Facebook automation, for instance, or you're automating on WhatsApp, there's a lot of commonalities between these different social media platforms, right? Where it's like, okay, so this is like Instagram automation, this is like LinkedIn automation, and because you've covered them before, you see it, right? You go on Black Hat World, for instance, top resource, you search like automating Pinterest, right? Then they're going to tell you proxies, account source, where to buy them, and tool, right? And then the strategy itself. Now, you already have commonalities from Instagram automation because it was like your thing. You pair them up and that's it. You have like a working strategy in as little as like 2-3 days. Of course, it's going to be a trial and error process, right? But you can definitely appreciate any other work that you've put into a dying automation platform right now, which is Instagram. And in my case, it's LinkedIn, but there's a lot of good outcome deriving from it. So
definitely, I totally agree. I think this is business life. You must to adapt fast. This is how it works. You can of course quit, but why? Even like Instagram, as much as like it's not like it used to be, and it will become every year. We can see how challenging it's more. It's still working. It's not like we need to go home and leave that. It's one of my motto, like to never give up. I think it's still worth it. Just like you need to do it on a smart way and ask the right questions and build right strategy for that. There's one guy over here. I must tell you about this guy. His name is Thomas. He's from France. He's one of also the best Java users I met on the Facebook community. Sorry, and he mentioned over here that we need to sell products to earn money with Pinterest. Interesting. Yeah, welcome to share with us if you have affiliate, CPC platforms and stuff like that. We'd love to hear you, Thomas, about it. That's really cool. And Mr. Jav asked for a promo for the bootcamp. Maybe you can tell us what is the bootcamp, because I know some people don't know even.
Yeah. So the growth hacking bootcamp, and I'm the biggest dick for never doing promos, and I'll explain why I don't do promos as well. But the growth hacking bootcamp is basically all the growth hacks that we discuss, that we come across, etc., that I can't post on the YouTube channel because either they work too well and I don't want additional competition, or we don't want a social media platform to patch it, essentially. So to come across the growth hack itself and to patch it, we post it in the bootcamp itself. Now, the bootcamp costs $149 every 3 months, so it's dirt cheap. It's like you're paying less than $50 per month for methodologies that can easily 10x essentially if you just apply your mind in that case. So that's the bootcamp. Now, we don't do promos because it's just so cheap at the end of the day. If you just divide the fee by per 3 months, essentially you come to it's sub $50 per month, and the information that's available there is top notch. Like, it's constantly updated as well. So that's that. The only promo that we did ever run was a lifetime deal, and the people that bought that lifetime deal, I can honestly say they're benefiting big time, because they paid $100 back then when I was nobody, and I had 2 videos on the YouTube channel, and they paid and they put their trust, and now they're just getting all the updates for free. So they paid $100, that's it. And the rest, of course, they need to pay the tri-monthly subscription, but I really don't feel like it's a dent because personally I don't believe in courses above 5K unless like you're going to Harvard, like legit, like come on, like what are you going to teach? And the thing about courses and just somebody that has a course, if you look at completion rates, they're tremendously low for courses, right? The number of people that will actually buy a course and fully complete it is I don't know, but I think I was listening to a podcast by The Hustle. It's like maybe 35-40%, right? Now course creators know this, right? Like we know it, and you're sort of hit with the dilemma of like, do I care? Do I not care? Right? Should I still put my course to like 5K or whatever, despite the fact that I know that up to 30% won't complete it. So in that case, because I'm aware of that, I essentially just do low cost courses because I know like one of the worst things I want to be known as is as a guru essentially, and one of the reasons as to why I'm doing the bootcamp right now is primarily for myself. But if I have a course that's like sub 150 every 3 months, I can sleep well at night, basically. So
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
I agree with you. I also want to join your bootcamp. It's like I think like it's all about like to get inside, like to have this knowledge and have these tools. It's worth so much. So I'm definitely down to learn more stuff, and there is no end for that. And of course, for the good things in the life, you must pay. This is what I believe. It's why I think it's like that. Is keep trying the Mr. Jab. Any promo for the services? I think he really want to work with you.
I personally I don't do promos, unfortunately, on anything. Like I like to increase price periodically, actually. And if you check out the Growth Hacking Bootcamp right now, you'll see that there's a price increase in X number of days. Now, I always do it. I always increase the price. And whenever I have people coming to me for like, and this isn't, it's more of an anecdote, to be honest. Whenever I have people coming to me from the communities and they're like, hey, can we get a discount for the bootcamp? I've been in the groups for so long. I've been with you since day one. Brother, where are you, etc. I'm like, bro, price goes up in 5 days. You take it or you leave it. Tomorrow it's going to be more expensive. And usually they buy. So.
Yeah, yes. That's good. I agree with it.
No promo for the services, but yeah, and it makes sense because we're always updating it and upgrading it, so it's additional work from our side. So it's like logically it makes sense that the value of the course itself would go up as we update and add more content. Like today I added 25 more outreach templates for email, LinkedIn, and Twitter as well. So it's constantly updated. The value goes up as well, and it's minimal either way, but.
Yeah, that's totally true. Before we finish, Kyrill, and really, I want to really thank you for all of your knowledge and all of your tips, and you really know what you're saying and a lot of value. And this is I'm happy I brought you over here. I'm happy you're here. What will be your biggest tip for people who want to? Okay, some guy I want to ask a question about someone actually. He asked over here. Advice for someone starting an e-com clothing store or doing everything by himself. I would love to some marketing help.
Yeah. So number one, why e-com clothing store? Like, are you trying to make money or are you actually passionate about starting an e-com clothing store? Because I know that personally, whenever you're doing anything with drop shipping and whenever you're doing anything with business, you need to test, right? Like crazy, essentially, whether it's a product or a service, and be ready to abandon the product or service if it's not working. So never stick to it, because if you stick to it, it's like you're sticking to a sinking ship. So saying I'm looking to start an e-com clothing store from the start, right? Fashion is my passion. That's yeah. If that's the case, there's a lot of different other service lines that you can start that are related to fashion, including media. So number one, you can start like a media company of this sort. Number two, you can start a fashion influencer agency as well. Just again, the whole point is it isn't to basically guide you into one direction, but it's more along the lines of, if you're going to start something, be ready to drop the idea when it doesn't work, because otherwise you're just going to be stuck with something for 1 or 2 years or 2.5 or 3 years, etc. So never be too predisposed with that. Just start with an industry view, and then from an industry view, select what works and what doesn't. That's my first tip, just from a macro business perspective. And then on the micro itself, I really can't give you any advice because I suck with e-commerce to begin with. The only thing I'm good with is like maybe CRO optimization. So if I look at a landing page and I'm looking to basically optimize its conversion rate, in that case, like, I can give you a couple of advice and tips. But if you're looking for advice with regards to drop shipping ads, Facebook stuff, etc., I personally suck big time, and my Pinterest ad experiment basically speaks for that as well. So yeah, I just generally really feel like, because you speak to a lot of creators, etc., I feel like it's really important to just admit that you suck terribly on some stuff and that you're good with some other stuff. And I really appreciate people that do it as well, that say like, I'm good on this, I'm terrible at this, right? That's where you get some really, really good conversations, essentially. I
agree. Yes, it's very important as well to know your benefits also for yourself, not even for the people. Yeah. Any last questions for Kyrill before we finish? And also, Master G, can I add that what I recommend to do to get influencer, for example, is to use methods like mass DM and build a chatbot, an Instagram chatbot. Now you can do it with Manage It or Chatfuel. If you want, you can test it and you can DM me the word VIP, and then you can play with my chatbot, not for sale or something, just like we already built that. So I recommend to build a chatbot to do that, and mass DM, mass comment, stuff like this. Kyrill, my last questions for you will be, what do you think is like the most important thing that I need to do when I want to start with all of your methods, all of the stuff that we discussed about here? Like, what would be in general my first step, not like technically, like to this kind of like changing?
Yeah, it depends, because it depends on what you're looking to achieve. If you're looking to, because nobody gets into this for fun, right? Nobody's automating thousands of Instagram accounts because it's like, this is my hobby, like this is what I do. No, you're either trying to start an agency, you're trying to sell some other people's stuff, you're trying to make money. Like, if I meet somebody that tells me I do it for fun, I'm like, bro, you're a fucking psycho. Get out of here. Like, what are you talking about? Unless it's actually your hobby. Is it your hobby, Adi? No, I don't think so.
I can to do it all the day. No, I'm not doing it all the day like for my fun.
Like 50-50. You enjoy it, but it's a business as well. But it's not like 100% your hobby. Yeah.
No, it's not. Yeah. Okay. I like the results. I like the when you see like what you actually achieve in the strategy. I like the strategy when you build it and like, oh, that's it. It actually does working.
Yeah. So in that case, again, now that we've eliminated the probability of it being 100% somebody's hobby, how are you looking to make money? Are you looking to make money as an agency? Are you looking to sell a certain result? What are you looking to do? So it's pretty important to answer that. Once you do that, you can optimize for it. For instance, so if you're looking to learn cold email, to set up a cold email agency, or to reteach it, right? Start with cold email, etc. Learn it, and then we offer it as a course. For an agency, ideally bring somebody that knows it as a partner as well, and share the earnings 50-50 or 60-40, etc., so that they can guide you just from a trial and error perspective. Then what else? There's a couple of other stuff. I'm not sure how well versed you are with Reddit automation or with Reddit in general. Have you ever done any work with Reddit or no? Yeah.
Yeah, Jarvee has it, but it's not that they don't have so many features. But it's nice.
So recently, and one of the latest things that we're running right now, there's a couple of developers from Macedonia, so just Eastern Europe. They created a hell of a Reddit automation tool. Like legit, it's probably some of the best stuff that I've ever seen. And we're actively working with them to improve the process as well. Every account daily can send 400 DMs daily. 400 DMs. So if you scale it over 10 accounts, you're sending 4,000 DMs per day, essentially. It can be scaled like exponentially, as long as you have the budget itself. but the tool is flawless. Like there's no issue, no bugs, no Reddit detected your automation stop. Just at a couple of points, because Redditors are ruthless, you can get your account suspended. This method, we have it in the bootcamp. I normally don't disclose it like publicly on the videos, but that method is there. If you're in B2C and Instagram isn't working for you, and you're looking for an automation method to basically hop into ASAP, right, to just continue your business lines, join the bootcamp and then check the Reddit automation module. It's there with the tool, and you can basically you can start from there. Just make sure you're targeting the right subreddits, basically.
Cool. Okay, I will do that. Sounds pretty crazy, this tool. Kyrill, I want to thank you a lot for your time and all of your effort and your great tips. It was very, very fun to have you over here. For all the people who will watch the record, so we will add the links to Kyrill YouTube channel, to his bootcamp, to all of his resources on the description or on here on the Facebook post. Oh, look at that. And thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Jeff, for being with us from the start. Yeah, it's actually crazy. Yeah, he got mine too. After, just check his YouTube channel, like after I review your YouTube, say, okay, I must talk with you and learn from you. So thank you very much, Kyrill. I hope you will have a great evening. Thank you guys for watching. And that's it. We'll see you on the next live one day.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Adi. And thanks to everybody as well. And yeah, if you have any questions, I think I'm pretty easy to reach on like WhatsApp and stuff like that. If you have any questions that you want to ask me personally. But essentially, yeah, thank you very much, guys. Catch you on the next one. Bye.
Thank you.